The Hebrew text in the Bible has hidden formats. By revealing these formats, I will prove the first writer's words were hidden from you. These formats look like poetry as I group them into small paragraphs. Their grouping will become known as a psalm, and together they become psalms. Let me show you our Creator's 12 commandments, listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Any father of a family or his wife who did not obey any one of these 12 commandments, our Creator demanded they bring him a sin offering. Thus, our Creator defined the word sin as not obeying any one of these 12 commandments. Next, I want to show you how I changed one word in Exodus 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and the words now reveal the style of the roof for our Creator's tent for meeting with Him. Let me show you the translator's words from the preface of the 1611 King James Bible. They gave 4 reasons for themselves or others to edit the Bible's words. The red arrow at the top points to their 3rd reason to edit the text. By the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next red arrow down points to them giving the title, the Divine, to a clerk named Gregory. The next block of words, they point out they were happy that the first emperor of Rome established the year to the course of the sun. Behind this text means Nebuchadnezzar ordered his kingdom to follow our Creator's calendar when he stopped eating grass. Did you notice the letter S in sun is capitalized? This is to give respect to the Egyptian sun god Ra. Have you seen the Egyptian obelisk in the Vatican's front yard? The last arrow points to your reward for studying the Bible. Your reward is to have a fellowship with the saints and participation of a heavenly nature that will never fade away. There is no such thing as nature to a truthful Christian. Our Creator created everything. By their own words, they were not seeking to know our Creator or Jesus. Not everyone has the knowledge to correct every word. I have an old Bible program that has the New American Standard Bible 1977 concordance to help find a better word. Their concordance has the number of times they use that English word in a parenthesis for that Hebrew word. The translators removed his name, YHVH, to put in 2 titles, Lord and God. I replaced those titles using the letters Y and V as his name, for the Hebrew language does not have a J, O, or W. By using these 2 letters, I am closer to the truth than anyone using J, O, or W for his name. So why is there a single letter O in the Hebrew text 1,095 times? No proper English was used? The blue highlighted text is text that I am removing. The red highlighted words are little words that I'm adding. Gray italic words are words that I added. To respect and honor our Creator, all capital letters in purple are our Creator's words. This is Jesus' prophecy, for I am revealing the first writer's words to tell you the true truths about Jesus. As the text is revealed, you can taste the writer's style of wording. Their words will take your belief to trusting our Creator. You will be watching prophecy before your eyes as I edit true truths back into their psalms. All right, Psalm 107. It was pretty long, so I went and cut it already to see what I could get without having to sit here and mumble for a while. And now I'll go over it with you. And what I'm looking for is to see what kind of verses does this text reveal. And right off the bat, I've got a 2-verse grouping here. I've got a 3-verse grouping here, a 3-verse grouping here, and then a 4. So you can see, and then a 5. So there's got to be some figuring out what's going on. Here's a 3, here's a 3. So there's another 4. But you can see that grouping the text together starts to reveal what format you should really be looking for. But the problem with this text it really is disturbing to read this, and I will go through a little bit of this to show. I'll go through all of it to show you and tell you my thoughts on what I'm reading here. Give thanks to Yvi, for he is good. And yet that is just a stupid verse right there, or words. He is good. Have you met him? Do they know that he's just only good? I mean, is that the way you would describe our Creator? Well, I think that's demeaning our Creator. For his love kindness is everlasting. I can accept a little bit of this. I'd have to edit it a little bit more. And let the Redeemer of Yvi, let the redeemed of Yvi, from Yvi, say, so whom he has redeemed from the hand of the adversary. Look, either you have enemies or you don't. You don't need to use 10 different words to say the word enemy. This word should be the word enemy. But the word redeemed means to redeem your soul. It doesn't mean to deliver you from the enemy. And that's the problem. The word delivery does mean in battle, he delivers you from battle. A lot of David's writings use the word deliver. And then I try to make sure that every word that I'm using doesn't have 10 different meanings. Use the word once and keep it to mean that. So the redeemed, there is nobody that's redeemed that we know of because they're either in heaven. I mean, they're in heaven, and how many people talk to people in heaven? So let the redeemed of Yvi, what's the word of mean? Doesn't mean what it's supposed to be, or it should be from Yvi. Say, let the redeemed of Yvi say, and then I've got text that says what you're supposed to say. So whom he has redeemed from the hand of the adversary. So something's wrong with this, isn't it? If you get rid of the word say, maybe it starts to become a little bit more clear. Let the redeemed of Yvi, whom he has redeemed from the hand of the adversary. Now here, I would have to say delivered here, enemy here. But the problem is I need text that's going to connect with it. And it's got, and gathered from the lands, from the east and from the west and from the north and from the south. Now, here's the problem. The west is the Mediterranean Sea, okay? So they would have never used the word west. When they said north, they would have known about everybody above north and everybody that's south, okay? Which would pretty much, did the enemy come from the south and take them captives? Because I'm thinking this is what the text is now telling us. Let the captives from Yvi, who he has redeemed or released from the hand of our enemy, so and gathered from the lands, from the east, from the north, and from south. I'm having a hard time with this right now because this is not making much sense because of the redeemed. And then it says, give thanks to Yvi, for his love kindness is everlasting. if his love kindness is everlasting, where's the other verses here telling us about the description of what's going on here? So, and gathered from the lands from the east and from the west, north, from the north and south. And this wouldn't be here, and this wouldn't be here. From the east, they really didn't have anybody's east either. You're talking about the Saudi Arabia desert. So they wouldn't have been taken there. They were taken to Babylon and Assyria, which is northward. Now they did flee. Some would have fled to the south, which would have been into Egypt. They wouldn't have went into the Sinai. They would have went into Egypt. So other than that, if you understand the land structure, you know that this is being said wrong. So I would have to change a lot of it to make it mine. Now, they wandered in the wilderness in a desert region. They did not find a way to an inhabitant city. Now, of all the texts that I know, our Creator led them from the Sinai, from the Sinai, which is pretty much a desert. And he didn't lead them to a city. He led them to first Amalek's, and they battled Amalek's, they lost. And then they went towards Edom, and then up to east of the Jordan River. So this can't even be true. They were hungry and thirsty, their soul fainted within them. How can your soul faint within you? Do you know that you have a soul that can faint? I don't know that, so I can't say any of this is really true here. And they cried out to Yahweh in their trouble, and he delivered them out of their distress. Just because they were hungry and thirsty? Is that what this text is telling us? This is not making any sense at all to me. I mean, in the desert, they tested him, but they didn't cry out to him. They approached Moses and complained. Okay, so this is not really a truthful statement. And if I come back up here, this is not how this would be said, and this is not true, because you got to tell me about Babylon or Assyria taking them captives and gathered from the lands. Gathered what from the lands? See, there's you would try to make words make what you think fits. The text is not like that when you see it cleaned up. This is what the text looks like when it's cleaned up. Let me show you a little bit closer here, because this is some very beautiful, sophisticated writing. You have a statement. Then you have a verse that's connected to another verse, and these make a paragraph. A statement, another sentence that connects to another sentence, another paragraph. Two of these make a larger paragraph, and it repeats. Two again connect together, and then two again connect together. I am not seeing any of this being able to be connected to the next verse or the next paragraph. Okay? And he led them by a straight way to go to an inhabited city. That never happened. You don't call our Creator's way a straight way. It just, to me, is the writer doesn't know what happened to them coming out of Egypt and getting into the promised land. Let them give thanks to Yahweh for his love kindness and for his wonders to the sons of men. The sons of men only? Where's the females? I mean, it should be man here. It should be the word descendants here. Wonders are usually plagues. Let him give thanks for his love kindness and for his plagues to the sons of men. What are the wonders to? They weren't. They were for them to prove. They were for them to prove who he was as their creator. So that verse is out. For he satisfied their thirsty soul and their hungry soul he has filled with what is good. Now, would you write a verse like that? I sure wouldn't. So why is it being written even like that? There were those who dwelt in darkness and in the shadow of death, prisoners in misery and chains. There's not enough here to tell us the story. There's just verses saying things. They aren't being hooked together, top or bottom, gone. Because they had rebelled against the words of Yahweh and spurned the counsel of the Most High, our Creator does not counsel with anybody. He commands you. And it's your will that allows you to either obey him or not obey him. So they rebelled against the words of our Creator. So this is a true statement and spurred the counsel of the Most High. No, it would be that they rejected his commands. They rebelled, and actually it would have to be they rejected his commandments, because the commandments are the agreement between them and their descendants. But we don't know who rebelled. Out. He humbled their heart with labor. They stumbled, and there was none to help. I don't think so. Our Creator is the one who helps them. That's the word we use, bless, coming from our Creator. So there is none to help. Why would they help? He humbled their hearts with labor. They stumbled, and there was none to help. Idiot verses. You have to understand when you're reading text, it has to match with something that's in the text. And most of the time, it's related to either how they come out of Egypt or relating to Jesus or the everlasting promises our Creator starts with. And then you go through all of them and you understand all the different promises that add up to why people will go into heaven. And then when Jesus appears, although the Hebrew text won't talk about Jesus appearing, but they should have all this about captivity, Babylon, Assyria. So then they cried out to Yahweh in trouble to save them out of their distress. What was the distress? Have we got an idea what he's talking about? Nope. That's out just because it doesn't connect to anything. He brought them out of darkness and the shadow of death and broke their bands apart. Tell me that story that this takes place. There is no story like that. What darkness? What shadow? Now, I'm sure you're going to sit there and say, oh, and metaphorically it means this. You're just dumb. You don't know. These are oversalted words that are not following the first writer's formats. The first writer's formats, I've done this one's 107, and I'm sure there's probably about 30 of them that I've thrown out like this. But the other ones, I can talk for 15 minutes on why I need to correct this, because I can tell you the story or the meaning behind the words to correct the text. Let them give thanks to Yahweh and his wonders. We had that already. That's been a repeat. We don't need that. It's been said once. They don't say things twice. For he has shattered the gates of bronze and cut the bars of iron asunder. Tell me when and what he did. When did that happen? When did our Creator do that? Creator wouldn't do that. Fools because of their rebellious. Now that starts out pretty bad because you got to get rid of the word fools right off the bat. It doesn't make no sense sticking that word here because they were rebellious way, because of their rebellious way, and because of their iniquities were afflicted. I'm sorry, but it's you going against our Creator by going on to another God is what makes you rebellious. Okay? That's what the word is. So this is just out. Their souls abhorred all kinds of food. Explain that verse to me. That's kind of funny. And they drew near the gates of death. Then they cried out, why be in trouble? And he saved them out of their distress. Where do you find the gates of death? Okay? That isn't connecting to anything above or below, is it? I mean, there's a couple times that distressed, afflicted, and then he saves them. Tell me the story. He sent his word and healed them and delivered them from their destruction. Who was destructing them? What is the word destruction? At what time? Where's the destruction about? This is the destruction was that they tore down his house when after Babylon had started taking them away. They gave them let them give thanks. We already had this verse. Again, what's it stuck there for? It's not connecting to anything. Let them offer sacrifices of thanksgiving. There is no such thing. There is no such thing. Or you don't understand what a sacrifice is, and you don't understand what an offering is. So, and tell of the works with joyful song. Do you call our Creator's miracles and wonders works? Those who go down to the sea in ships do business on great waters. Those who go down to the sea in ships. Those who go down. I can't even think what's going on here. So that verse is out. How many more I gotta go because I'm finding that this is ridiculous. They have seen the works of Yahweh and his wonders in the deep. I don't think so. If you're trying to talk about going through the Red Sea, it's not works that he did. He spoke and raised up the stormy. Just remember, I've got words here that smoke comes out of his nostrils, smoke comes out of his mouth, and fire out of his mouth. He rides on cherubim and the winds, the mountains melt, and the seas go dry. They rose up to the heavens, and they went down into the depths. Their souls melted away with misery. See, you should be already spotting the over-salted words that have no meaning here. They reeled and straggled. Okay, that's out. Oh, then he caused the storm to be still. That happens anyway. It caused trouble, brought them out of distress. Tell me the story around these. Then they were glad because they were quiet, and so he guided them to their desired haven. Right, you had to tell our Creator where you want to go. Yeah. this was said already. Again, that's probably the fourth time, I think. Extolled, let them extol him also in the congregation of the people and praise him at the seats of the elders. That is, I think the elders are supposed to teach you those things. You're not supposed to. How do you exalt him anyway? I mean, praise I understand, but exalt? He changed the water. He changes water into a wilderness, and a spring of water into a thirsty ground. Okay. A fruitful land into salty waste. Those are the wicked and those who live in it. Man, some of these, when you start reading these, when they're broke down into verses, as you can see, they just don't make sense. So I'm just going to go through here and see if I can find any one that I think I can save. They gather the fruitful harvest. That's not important. Establish an inhabited city. There was too many people to live in one city. He blessed them and multiplied them greatly and did not let their cattle decrease. Okay. Their cattle is more important, especially when they were herders. When they were diminished and bowed down through oppression, misery, and sorrow, he pours out contempt upon princes and makes them wander in pathless waste. Whatever. Just idiots. He set the needy securely on high, away from the affliction, makes the family like a flock. The upright see this and glad, and all the unrightnesses shut their mouths. Shuts its mouth. Its mouth. They can't even use the word they. Their mouth. Who is wise, and let him heed to those things and consider the love. Okay. Just a bunch of stupid words. Just a bunch of stupid words. So who are they trying to fool here? I guess they fooled you. Somebody told me that every word in the Bible is true. And I laughed and they called me a heretic. And then when I bring up these verses, they all don't want to say anything. Okay. Psalm 1. Okay. I guess I should prepare this a little bit in case I make a video. I'm going to start doing Psalm 108 by doing what I'm set above my head here, and that is to make short verses, group them together, and then edit them the best I can by explaining my editing. So, that said, okay, now when you see parentheses around text, that's usually saying that these words were added after the Bible was put together and they found these words in maybe one or two manuscripts and said, oh, they belong, and yet they're covering up the hidden formats of the text. Now, I do change the title God, which is just a capital G all the time. These are all capital G's. And I changed the word Elohim when I went through and searched all 2,300 and some verses that have the title as God. When you put them together and say the words our creator, those words are more true than saying God. The Bible is, the editors are trying to make you think that the title God is his name, and it's just not so. In fact, they covered up his name, YHVH, what was it, 6,825 times. So you know they aren't the good guys. And yet you never question who writes the text. You never see them out front talking to you, telling you and explaining all these words to you. But if you ever read the 1611 preface, as you've seen in the intro, they call Gregory the divine. So what do you think of that? That's how good they are. They knew Gregory was the divine. My heart is steadfast. Our Creator, I will sing praises even with my soul. Now that's a bad start. You wouldn't repeat these words at all here. I will sing praises. See, now this sentence is separate. To our Creator, I will sing praises, even with my soul. Now, if you're the one singing, and once you understand the soul is part of you, but it's separate from you. When you say the words me, myself, and I, the word I reflects as your soul. You say it, but you don't understand that is your way of you saying these three, okay? But you wouldn't consider it your soul. You consider it your conscious, okay? I will sing praises even with my soul. If you're doing it once, you can't do it a second time. So even from my soul, even with my soul, even from my soul, I don't think so. Awaken harp and lyre. I will awaken the dawn. Hear this part. What do you mean by awaken the harp and lyre? You would say play the harp and lyre, but you don't awake the harp and lyre. Harp and lyre, I will awaken the dawn. I don't think this is a very true statement here, and there's not enough. I will sing praises on the harp and lyre, or with the harp and lyre. Now that's possible. To our Creator, I will sing praises on a harp or lyre. Okay, I think I've got something there. So I finally can put the word to up here and say I'm adding that word. To our Creator, I sing praises on a harp and a lyre. I guess I could go with that. I was thinking that, can I use the word dawn here? On the harp at dawn. And I don't think that would be right. But there I'm starting to get a 3-verse grouping, because my heart is steadfast. That doesn't connect with anything now. Okay. I give thanks to you, Wivey, among our people, among the peoples. This would have to be tribes. And I will sing praises to you among the nations. Now, see, now there's a 4-verse grouping, and I don't have it here. My heart is steadfast to our Creator. And usually I need more than just one word here in a verse. but I guess this is rough again here. I sing thanks to you. I guess I can just say here, I don't need the word you. Among, this would be our tribes. If this psalm is true, this has to be tribes, because you got to understand that they were supposed to meet and celebrate for 8 days as a statute around our Creator's tent or around his house for meeting with him. And they were to assemble by the birth order of the tribes. And then they were supposed to celebrate, and they would have celebrated starting when the evening is cooler. Then they would have been out singing and celebrating. So now, did these singers go from one to another to show their skills? Now that's possible. So it says, I will give thanks to you, YV, or could I say we are to give thanks to YV among our tribes. I think that's a better fit of words there. And sing and praise you among the nations. Now here the word nation should represent tribes. So if I put the word tribes here as well, I might have to get rid of them above among our people. So if I go like this, I should get just rid of that word. And then this would have been out. Among our people, and sing praises to you among the nations. Okay, actually, it's one or the other. You can't have two. They are conflicting words being put together. So I'm choosing kindness. Your kindness is great. Now, is it above the heavens? No. You are above the heavens. Okay, now what do I mean above the heavens? Well, if I show you where heaven is located, I have to use only the New American Standard verse of Psalm 48, verse 2. And these words are here, right here. Beautiful in elevation, the joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion in the far north. The North Star is the tip of the motion of the stars making Mount Zion. Okay? That is known as the second heaven, and then where the birds fly is the third heaven. Above the North Star is where heaven is located. Okay? So, if I go to look at this, you are above the heavens, and then I would have to actually capitalize the word heavens here. And I have to say, you are, in this being our creator, I have to use all cap letters, but saying I'm adding, you are above and I would say our heavens. I just because that's how I'm seeing the text has got to be said. And you got to understand I'm talking about two heavens. And your truth reaches to the skies. See, this person doesn't know what a heaven is, so and your truth does not reach to the sky. For your kindness to us is great, and you are above our heavens. In your truth, I don't know. And then again, I got this statement being said again, which means most of the time when they do that, I don't need to because it's already been said once. And your glory is above all the earth. I already told you that they know where the heavens are. It's why are they using above all the earth? I'm trying to figure out what's going on here by correcting what I can really quick here. Your truth, your love kindness to us is great. I have to put those in to make sense of this, but I have to sit there and say, this is what they're saying. For your kindness to us is great, and you are, and wait a second, if I take this verse and put it above this verse, I take this verse here, you are above our heavens, and your love kindness, or your kindness to us is great. Let's see about the word exalted here. I go to this Bible program, which tells you how many different words they used in this concordance for the 1977 NSAB. It no longer exists because they didn't like me showing all this stuff off and how bad it is corrupted. Lift, offered, reared, remove. They try to stay true to the word, but I know that a lot of these words have Hebrew words already said for themselves. So tall is exalted. Exalt, exalted 28. They did use it a lot of times this way. Now, what I'm looking at here in the text is up here, these two want to try to equal or make that one small paragraph, another small paragraph to make them as a large paragraph. So this here has to be tied to these somehow. And you are above our heavens, for you are above our heavens, and your love and your kindness to us is great. By your truths, we are exalted. As our Creator, we are exalted. I'm trying to say that these words need to be reordered. But you're starting to see me having to do a lot of editing the text to make it something of what it should be easy to understand. And here I'm having to arrange it to try to figure out what it's saying. That's usually not how it goes. So I don't need, these words aren't connecting with anything, that your truth does not reach to the skies. You got to understand what heavens are. This gets flipped around. You are above our heavens, and your kindness to us is great. As our Creator, you exalted us. And then this, you don't need the word this or that word. Then it would become all on earth, everyone on earth. Let me put that in there. Everyone on earth. Everyone on earth. That your beloved may be delivered. Now, well, because the last one I talked about redeemed, but this would be redeemed to be into heaven. Everyone on earth. But if I got 4 verses here, 1, 2, 3, I don't know how I'm going to tie that verse to this group, but it's supposed to. Yeah, I think I can move those around to get what it's truthfully trying to say, but needs a lot of work. Your beloved, they would never say maybe. It would be to delivered. Were saved by your hand. Where you answered us, our Creator. Now this would be this is starting to sound just like what David would do. He's called to be delivered from his enemies, and then our Creator answered him. And this is not. I will exalt. I will portion out Shishim and measure out the barrels. If this is our Creator speaking, he doesn't need to do any of this. David didn't do when they battled coming. Okay, if they came into the promised land, Shishim is right about now located in the middle of portion of Shishim and measure out the valley. This portion out, meaning to divide out the land for the tribes, measure I will portion by measure. This is not being said right, to divide the land up. This is just, and he wouldn't have spoke this in his holiness. Our Creator is perfect, and he is. So that's just lessening our Creator by actually thinking you can speak for him something untruthfully being said here. Is mine. Vanessa is mine. Ephraim also. Ephraim is the helmet of my head. Judah is my scepter. Now this is just junk. Moab is my washbowl. Moabs were killed off and sent off. So this is wrong. They were located above, they were north of Edom, not over Edom. Over Edom, I'll throw my shoe. Over Goshen, I'll shout aloud. There is no reference of being thrown a shoe except for our Creator told the people that when you are not obeying His command of passing on the land, what happens if one of the brothers is given land and then he dies and doesn't have a son? His wife is to marry one of his brothers until she has a son, and then as he grows, then he's able to come and live on the land and establish it as his to keep descending. Because when you're married, you're one, so she's still going to have descendants to be inherited of the land. And if the brother will not marry with her, then she's supposed to bring before the elders and embarrassing by throwing a shoe at him. So this has no relationship to what I just got done saying. And these are the enemy, so what does that have to do with why we'd shout over them? So, who will bring me into a besieged city? Who will lead me to Edom? Why are you going to Edom? That's not even in the promised land. Who will bring me into a besieged city? That doesn't even make sense. Have not you yourself, our Creator, rejected us? And will you not go forth with our armies, our Creator? This, when He has rejected them as a group, they're into captivity. So that's being said wrong. Oh, give us help. Who is oh? Oh, give us help. That's just stupid. Give us help against our enemy. Give us help against the enemy and deliver us from, for deliverance by man is vain. This is not. Through our Creator, we will do valiantly. As He who tread down our adversaries. Okay, no, He doesn't. He causes you to do that. But this here, then, me trying to make sense out of any of this, no, thank you. I could, but then it's kind of like I already know these words have been said before. So this is just stupid words. I tried to make sense out of this, but the story just went stupid. Portion of Shechem. Shechem is a city, okay? And the only reason why Shechem was a city, become a city, is there's a lime quarry there, limestone quarry there, and they were cutting up the limestone to make the walls for Israel or for Jerusalem and the courtyard floor out of limestone. So that's why it became a city. And Rehoboam told him, I don't care how hard your work is, and you're going to do harder. And they rebelled and said, well, we're done. You do it by yourself then. So this portion of Shechem would, no, just stupid words when you understand the words and the stories around it. And I really didn't think I thought I had something there when I was beginning. I didn't think I was going to get rid of it that quick. Now, this means I'm getting close to the last one here. Okay, this is a capital D here, which would, I'm pretty sure I've got to check this. This is going to be, I think, as name Ivy. And then I see I got to check that as well. Okay, so this will be some, let me see, I got to make this a capital G, and I've got to drop this down to here, because I thought that one was going to last me a few hours, and that didn't take long to get rid of that junk. But I've got to start editing here ahead here. So let me show you what I do here. I go into the text here and I click on the title God, and that way I can then check the Hebrew word for him. And if it's Elohim, you see I'm going to change it to the title creator, and this is Psalm 109. So if I go to 109, and then I got to set it so I can get back here easily, because it looks like it's going to be some time. So here it's Elohim. Now if I go to the next one, it's in verse 20. See his name? So what I could do is go over to the text here, and I put in his name that I use, and I know I'm much closer than everybody else. So in fact, I'll just get rid of that title. And then I can see I have another one, so I go over here, and I see here, and it's Elohim. So I gotta go back up here. I'll just grab this one. And come down here and say that's, I wonder how come I got Ivy here and it didn't do here. Okay. So now that I've got it prepped, I can now say that I'm going to do Psalm 109 here, and that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to go backspace. So what I've got here is setting up the text like this. Let me bring it down a little bit, because I don't know how I'm going to divide these into what I want to say, split them up later into videos. I haven't even decided whether I'm going to keep them. I think I'm going to redo them in a shorter form. But right now I'm trying to explain to you how I'm doing these videos as to my thought process as I go through them, so you understand that the word that I've changed, why I've changed it. You might disagree with me saying that, but when I start talking and giving you my explanation, you might start trusting me more and more, because the text is all up here in my head. One little word or a verse, 3-4 words, can take me on 15 minutes explaining them. So Psalm 109, when you see paragraphs around the text, that means that those words were added after probably 1611 Bible was translated into English. Our Creator of my praise. That just my mind just went blank over that. I couldn't understand why the word "of" is there. God of my praise is the way it would have been. The title God of my praise. Our Creator, my praise will not be silent. My praise of you will not be silent. For they have opened the wicked, the deceitful mouth, are against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. They have also surrounded me. I don't need the word also. They surrounded me, and this is just got to be split here, with words of hate. That goes up here with this verse here. And fought against me without a cause. And that's kind of odd. How can it be without a cause to fight you? Because this would be a king speaking now of a battle, and this would be of David. So, without cause, no. In return for my love, they acted as my accusers, but I am in prayer. Thus they have repaid me evil. I don't need the word thus. They repaid me evil. This is just two separate. And my hatred for my love. How can you give... The word love is just stupid here. Appoint a wicked male over him, and let the accuser stand at his right. When he is judged, let him come forth guilty, and let his prayer become sin. Now, you know what? This text is almost sound like I can't use any of this. This is now, again, not becoming a story. And what I'm looking for when I'm doing these, okay, I've done so many of them, and this is what happens to the text. I can go through here and edit this, and this is what I find. I find a statement and then two verses that connect together to make a paragraph. And then these do the same as above, and they become a paragraph, but these two become a paragraph. And that repeats itself, and it repeats itself, and we have a story, okay? That's the first writer's formats that they're hiding, okay, or have destroyed by adding text to it. So when I'm looking and trying to assemble these, I got words that I have a hard time trying to say that these would exist anywhere in any story by any king, to say who's being accused and why being accused. And if you're going to be judged, you have to understand that they had refuge cities. When they came into the promised land, the first cities that our Creator told them to have is a refuge city. And what that refuge city did is the Levites were there, and they would hold like a court to find out about the man's, or the one who had killed somebody. And because if you kill somebody, the neighbors are going to mad, they ain't going to believe you. So it's got to be really investigated. So they would flee to the city and then tell him at the gate what he's done. They would let him in, and they would protect him. And they would protect him by going and investigating it and finding their own reasons, whether he did it by accident or if he did it by will. If he did it by will, the other family had or could assign a manslayer, meaning he could go and kill either male or female that had killed their family member, and go kill him and be a righteous. Then he had to go atone for his sin, because our Creator said, do not kill anyone willingly, but it would still need an offering to be forgiven because you did kill. But then if they were found by accident, then that one was brought back there by the priest or the judge, told that, look, we investigated it, and this person did it accidentally. So you have to forgive him, and then he has to make an atonement for him killing somebody, not being obedient to our Creator. Even though it was an accident, they weren't obedient to our Creator by not killing anyone. Okay, so the thing here is you still had to atone for it. So this is, they're trying to say this here, when he is judged, let him come forth guilty, and let his prayer become a sin. This person doesn't understand what a sin is. There are 12 commandments, okay? These 12 commandments can be found in Exodus 21 through 17. And this is the agreement that they had to obey all these. And if they didn't, they were to bring a sin offering. Therefore, our Creator defined these 12 as sins. These are sins. So this person who is editing this text does not know what a sin is. You can't have a prayer become a sin. So this verse is completely wrong. Let him come forth guilty. This is just not being said correctly. But I am in prayer. They repaid me evil for good, and my hatred and hatred. This has to be so far away for my love. Appoint a wicked male over him, and let the accuser stand as right hand. This is not making any sense. This can't, because it's the Levites who are supposed to do all the judging, and he doesn't seem to understand that. The accusers, those are just witnesses. But they aren't really accusers, they're witnesses. The accuser would be the family members having the complaint against the one who fled to the refuge city. And here, this isn't making any sense. This is not making any sense. You have to understand what the refuge city means. And I can see the word fought being argued against me. So I can see that those words are pretty much safe right now. Let his days be few. Let others take his office. Now that's there's a problem there, because what office are they talking about? Yeah, what office are they talking about? I can't think of an office. I really can't think of an office. I can at Jesus's time. They had tax pullers that they had the tax booth and take his office right there. His merchant's seat is an office. I don't know. Let his children be fatherless and his wife be a widow. You do not. This would be against one of the 12 commandments, to love thy neighbor, I think it is. Let's take a look. You will not steal or bear false witness, and you'll do not desire what is your neighbor's. I'm thinking it would go with text here as saying you don't be doing like this false accusing, even though they are wrong. You don't wish for the children to be fatherless and the women to be widows. That's just wrong. Let his children wander about and beg. There is no kindness from this person, is there? Let them seek sustenance far away. Oh, sustenance? They had that big of a word back then? I tell you, these idiots that are adding words into this text to make it make sense, I don't know who for, because this is just, I can't think of a Christian who would have such hate and their homes be ruined. It was it was everybody's inheritance to live on their own land. So it was like, why kill off their whole family when a creator wanted them to keep living there? Let the creditor seize all that he has. That is not true. Now this is just stupid, because the fact is, if he borrowed money and he didn't pay it off, he was sent to what's known as a work prison, that he was put in there, and then anyone else that was looking to hire people, because everybody had their own workers, own family help working, but if he borrowed too much, couldn't pay it off, he went to this work prison where somebody else could come in and say, I need him to work for me. And then instead of paying him, I'm paying the other guy that he owes. And then there was this 7-year count that our creator had. So if he was like in the middle here, couldn't pay the creditors, at the end, or when it came up to the last year, the 7th year, to start a new one, they were to blow the horns throughout all the tribes and announce that this is the 7th year and everybody that's in debtor prison gets to be free. Okay? So that's the creditor can't seize anything. That's for the inheritance of the family. So this person doesn't understand that at all. As the stranger plundered the product of the, well, can't have that either. Let none extend kindness to him, nor be gracious to his fatherless children. And why would you put the blame on his children? I mean, what did this guy do to deserve this bullshit against his children? I mean, what's the worst you can do to somebody? I mean, burning his field? That's only a loss of money. Killing
maybe his children. Why would you wish now his children if you know the sorrows of losing children? I don't get this. Let his spouse be in the following generation. Let his name be blotted out. No, that's exactly against our Creator. That's just. And karma is not passed down. Our Creator judges each one as individuals. So, and the sins of his mother be blotted out. Okay. Our Creator forgives him, and then this guy is telling you that no, whatever our Creator did, no, don't listen to him either. Let them be before, why be continually, that he may cut off their memory from earth. No, if our Creator told the priest that this guy that just made an offering for his family, between him and his wife, have done something wrong, and he's mocking our Creator, he was known as a cast-off, which means, cast-off, which means he's supposed to be removed from the promised land and sent away. Let him bundle his things, but get out of here. Now, there was some reasons that our Creator might have had him killed, but that wouldn't have been what's going on here, that they don't cut off the memory from the land or from the earth. Oh, now it's because he did not remember to show kindness, but persecuted the afflicted and the needy man. For those, he really was pounding on his children forever and his sins, and he loved cursing. He also loved cursing. So it came to him. Now, cursing is specifically a word used to mean that he was mocking our Creator as who he is. And our Creator's law told him to take him out and stone him, kill him. So, I don't know what it means about blessing here. And he did not delight in blessing, so he was far from him. This person doesn't understand the words of the Hebrews language and the meaning of their words. These are such secular meaning of the words. It's not funny. Clothed him with cursing, and with his garment and it entered into his body like water and oil into his bones. I don't think that can ever happen. I don't know. This guy really has a bad concept of what he has against a guy that only he didn't show kindness and prosecuted the afflicted and needy. Let them be arrogant, with which he covers himself, and a belt. And for a belt, which he constantly girds himself. Well, that's what a belt does. It goes around your waist. Speak evil against my soul. Evil means to be against our Creator. Would you, Wivey, my Lord, deal kindly with me? Oh yeah, this is something. No, this is something. After all them telling them to punish their kids, tear up their land, don't obey our Creator, don't listen to him for forgiving their sin, make sure that tell our Creator that he is supposed to remember their sin, but kindly deal kindly with me, for your name's sake. because of your love kindness is good to deliver me, idiot. I mean, sorry, but that's just the way it is right now. These words here are not so good to understand what they are. For I am afflicted and needy, and my heart is wounded within me. I am passing like a shadow. When it lengthens, I am shaken off. Like locusts? I I have a hard time understanding these words. Again, let me explain. Well, I know I'm going through these quite quickly, but this is why. This is what happens when you find the hidden format. The editing should look like this and breaking into sentences that are short and easy. And the first one makes a statement, and then these two connect together. This happens in a 3-verse. A 4-verse would be 2 verses connecting and then 2 verses connecting to make a small paragraph. Then another small paragraph that makes a larger paragraph. Then they do this again, and they do this again, and you have a complete story. Some of these, I've actually got maybe like 30 of these or 20 of these groups together. And this one is just being so stupidly written by one who doesn't understand the knowledge of the Hebrews. Oh, my knees are weak from fasting. How are your knees weak? I can understand your... by the way, fasting isn't like the fasting you think that is known today. Fasting was done after, like when you're mourning for someone. That's the fasting, that you take time to remember them and you give up your way and concentrate on who has passed away and share that understanding and the remembrance of them. So it's not like you're fasting for 10 days. You're fasting for a day or two and you're mourning. So you can't grow weak from your fasting and grow lean without fatness. That takes quite a while to get together. Otherwise, everybody would be able to lose weight quickly, even today. So this is just driving me nutty here. I also have become a reproach to them. Well, yeah, you've been pretty stupid. When they see me, they wag their head. Now, wait a second. Now, this might go someplace else. This is starting to actually make sense to me. Okay. Because that's a good 3-verse. I could clean it up to get it closer to 3-verse. And it's not also, it would say, I became... It would have to correct this and say, I became a reproach to them. And I'd have to put the word now. When they see me, they wag their head. They shake their head. That'd be doing this. I don't think that's called wag. Let's see what the concordance does here with this word wag. It's verse 25. I'm in the next psalm, I believe. Wait a second. I got to get back here. I got to go down here to see what... This is 10, so I got to be in 9. Get over here, get to 9. This is 9. Wow. 25. Wow. I was still on the title of God. That's what it was. They moved their head. They shake their head. They shook their head. They wagged it twice like a dog. They wagged twice like a dog. Okay. I could say, when they seen me, it'd have to be after the fact, because that's what he's talking about. They shook their head. They shook their heads. So I could say that I'm just changing this word to correct it. But now there's a 3 verse, okay? So now that's reasonably said. I can't be saying that's completely stupid. Help me, YV. My creator. I guess the word our wouldn't work here. Help me. So making a personal plea. Help me, YV. My creator. Help me, YV. Save me according to your kindness. Whoops. And this would be, you can't have both of these. These aren't, that's, one is a lot different than the other, but this I could get rid of. I could say that's out. And now I've got a 3 verse here, and I got a 3 verse here. So I might have something here now at the end of the text, but above, that was just, doesn't understand a lot of what's going on. And let them know that this is your hand, and having to add that, and you don't need his name here. You have done it for me. I'd have to add that just because it's reasonable that you would say that. But whatever the act is, it's an it. You have done, I would have to replace that with the word this. You have done that. You have done this for me. That's the correct way to say it. Because otherwise, if you're saying the word it, you're saying or whatever our creator did isn't it. That's not good. Let them curse. Can't curse a person. You can, what would be the word? Let them speak badly about me. Curse, I'm not going to make curses. Look, it's not the word blasphemy. It is the word cursing our creator is why they are never forgiving. The word blasphemy does not have a great definition as is in the Hebrew text, where when they are in the Sinai, an Egyptian son who has a wife of an Israeli is arguing with an Israeli son. They're arguing, and he's cursing our creator. They didn't know what to do about this, so they took him to Moses, and Moses said, take him out and kill him. That's what our creator just told me. So that will never be forgiven. Instantly, they are supposed to kill them. So it's cursing against our creator is what the word truly blasphemy means. So in the Hebrew text, we don't have the word blasphemy. We do have the word cursing. And I'm not going to use the word cursing against another man, meaning male or female, and then for you to bless them. So I can't do that. Let them speak badly against me, but do you bless when they arise? They will be ashamed, but your servant will be glad. Now, because right now he's already told them to show off that you did this by your hand, and you have done this for me. And I put all our Creator's words in large or capital letters and in purple to honor and respect our Creator. Whereas Jesus, I will use the first letter as capital, and his text will be red, such as Jesus walked, I'd have the W capitalized. He talked, I'd have the T capitalized. So that way, when you're reading the text, the reader understands the way he should read the text. Let them really, this here, if I got this already, this is not needed. When they arise, they will be ashamed. But that's not enough here. That's only one word. Ashamed for what they done, or or be ashamed of their act. I guess I would say that there's words missing here. But your servant will be glad. Now, if he's the same servant as above, our Creator's gonna not like this guy. But if this becomes a 3-verse, 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 which is showing up that way now, let my accuser be. We don't need clothed. Let my accuser be dishonored. And let them cover themselves with their own shame as a robe. Now that is just too much of a distance. And let my accuser be dishonored. And covered with shame. Because that's how now when I'm doing this, what I'm doing here is trying to say that would be like a comma here, and then these two go together as a verse. This as a robe, no, you don't look at somebody and know they're ashamed by being like a robe. A robe is used by a king, so that wouldn't be it. That's just actually meaning for something else. I'll put that at that end though, because it's kind of tied to that, but it's not needed. With my mouth, gives. I guess I need my mouth will. I guess I do need that. Will give, and I don't need that. Give thanks above abundantly to you. And okay, now see, now that's breaking to in the midst of many. Now this, I will praise him, for he stands at the right hand this would almost be like praise him for standing at the right hand of the needy to save them. Those who judge his soul. Only our Creator can judge his soul. So this is not, that is out. But I've got some 3-verse here, but I don't think I got anything above. Yes, I do. Okay, but I don't see him as 3-verse. Okay, now this is going to take a little bit, but I'm going to take this, all this, and I'll just see if I've got something here. So if I do this, I don't need to hold the keyboard down. I might find some words that are written by a first writer's format. So let me take a look. If I come down here, paste it. I'll take all this. Let me not do that. I don't like my macro doesn't capture everything sometimes, and I really have to work extra hard. Let's see how it works. Got rid of the 8 point, got rid of the coloring. Okay, that did pretty good. Now let me go through here and just try to take care of the spacing a little bit. Whoops. Okay, now let's see what I got here. Can I say that I've got something? I like making the spacing 6 point, and then you can see by what I showed you before how I get the hidden, or I'm looking to try to make the text. Let's see, bring this one back up again. I'm trying to make it look like this so you can see the double spacing and stuff. And I'm trying to decide whether the text is grouping together as well. Our creator, my praise will not be silent. Our creator, my praise to you added that. Our creator, my praise to you. That's a good, will not be silent. Okay, now that becomes a verse, and these two are connected together. So there's a 3 verse. For they have opened the wicked, the deceitful mouth against me. Now this needs to be moved around. I need to take the word wicked and say this is small, but I'm going to make it yellow, and then put who they are is the wicked. So the wicked here, I'm moving from here to here. For the wicked, open, the wicked opened, and I would say their deceitful mouths against me. That doesn't read right. These two aren't connected, so I've got that to put up with too. That first part doesn't. You can't be saying you guys should have some more praise here. This is definitely not 2 paragraphs that are going to become together as a larger paragraph. The wicked, I guess I can use the word have. The wicked have opened their mouth against me. They have spoken against me with, I would say not a, but it's their lying tongue, and not just one. Whoops, this is here. Their lying tongues. And it's the tongue that spake, because they knew that if they cut off the tongue does not, you can't speak without the tongue. So when they said that they spake in tongues, it means they spake in different languages. So now you know what it actually meant 2,400 years ago, or stupid people in church jump up and down talking stupid gibberish because they've just been lied to, and so they make things up for themselves. For the wicked have opened their mouth against me. They have spoken against me with their lying tongues. Now that's a real good 4-verse format. Okay. They even surrounded me. So I needed that word, so I'll add that. They even surrounded me for they surrounded me. No, I can't use the word even. That's not, it needs to be a different word at the end here to get to this with word. They surrounded me. They surrounded to mock me. They surrounded to mock me with tongues of hatred and argued against me without cause. Now that would be a 4-verse, but it's not connecting to anything. I became a reproach to them. Now when they seen me, they shook their heads. I became a reproach to them, period. Now when they see, yeah, I don't need the word in here. Now when they see me, comma, they shake their head. And I need to say that I'm correcting that, so shake their heads. Okay. Now, the first words are praise, so that doesn't hook with this. This being a 4-verse, this being a 3-verse, they aren't connected. Help me, Wivey, save me according. Help me, Wivey. I gotta put the word and. And save me according to your kindness. Now that makes it real good here. Save me from their evil. That would be a comma. That would be a period. Okay, this has to be, I said that. I need that. I need that. Save me from their evilness according to your kindness. Okay. And let them know, period, that this is your hand and you done this for me. Guess I still need all those words to get this to be written. I'm just trying to think of, can I move a word? Can I get rid of a word that, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, okay, this was the word it. Okay, and let them know that this is your hand and you done this for me. Now this becomes a group. These two here become a group. That's 4 verse. When they arise, they will be ashamed but your servant will be glad. Let my accusers be dishonored. Well, let's put it this way. If I do this and do this and try to say, but your servant will be glad, period. And what I'm doing is tying it to this. This doesn't seem to be right. This is tying to this, but your servant will be glad. Now, all of a sudden, it tells me that these are words of like a prophet arguing with their own people in the land that are now evil against our Creator, not wanting to be with, follow Him. And I can show you that in who might have wrote something like that, because down here in Jeremiah, he's arguing with them, and they're on to this Queen of Heaven, and it's our forefathers, our kings, and our princes, which probably means priests, are all doing this, vowing sacrifices to her and pouring out libations to her. Now, these would have been the ones that would have been surrounding Jeremiah and doing all this. And he's saying, our Creator, I've had enough. Would you come and take care of me? So I can see that this is what's going on, how he has. That's one prophet that definitely shows this text could have come from. But your servant, because a servant is a prophet, that's what it could be, a priest, it could be a king. So, but to be able to write those, you have to be one of the 3 to be put in the text. For my accusers were dishonored and covered with shame. Okay, this I don't need. That's out now, but this seems to want to connect now. But your servant will be glad, for my accusers were dishonored. Our Creator is going to do that, so it has to be this. Were dishonored and covered with shame. So, but to do this means that I have it wrong, and this is going to connect, and this is not going, those 2 are going to connect. These 2 are going to connect. Okay, so then it's this has to go separate. My mouth will give thanks abundantly to, my mouth gives thanks. My mouth, and it's really not my mouth, my tongue. I just explained that it's the tongue they knew that talks. So it has to be, although if I say with my mouth, I will give thanks. a bundle, A2YV, in the midst of many of them. Like I said, they were the ones that surround around him, and he's arguing against them. He's going to be talking about our Creator. So this is really good that he, like when I showed you the text of Jeremiah here, if you go to these verses and look, he does turn around and tell them, I don't care what you're saying, you're wrong. He does say that. So, with my mouth. Let me just take this word here, stick it up here, and put with. Now I've got something with my mouth. With my mouth, I have to have this. With my mouth, I give thanks. With my mouth, I give him thanks. And then this has to be added. Thanks. With my mouth, I give thanks abundantly. With my mouth, well, if they're ashamed, maybe this should go above. With my mouth, I gave him thanks abundantly in the midst of many of them. And then I don't need this. That he was praising our Creator and thanking him for what he has done. With my mouth, I gave him thanks abundantly. So maybe I have to put the word him back up here, and then down here, and then change this to an A and say, okay, it might be changed back to give. With my mouth, I gave him thanks abundantly in the midst of many of them. I think that's a good 3-verse because those two want to connect, and this is like the statement. I praised him for stands at the right hand of the needy who saveth. This is not connecting to anything, so that's just out. So now let me take these verses and clean them up again. I think I'm getting closer to at least having some text here. So, because I'm pretty sure that a prophet now would be able to say some of these, but not all this. My praise is to you. For I will not be silent. I will not be silent. I want to say before them, but that's because I know the text below. So, okay. Now, for the wicked have opened their mouth against me. They have spoken against me with their lying tongues. Now, this here, at the end when it was getting to Babylon was coming and Isaiah was warning them. Isaiah had went to his house, spake against the priests, and as he was leaving, they accused him of going to the enemy, which was to leave the land of Judah, or the land for the kingdom of Judah, and going away from them. And that's when they put him in shackles. And I'm thinking that's how the story goes. And then, yeah, because this is the wicked have opened their mouth against me and spoke evil against me with their lying tongues. Because this is the only thing I can think of was the lying, what they'd done was to accuse him that he was going away from me. They surrounded to mock me with their words of hatred and argued against me without cause. And that's what I'm saying. The without cause would mean that they were accusing him of leaving and he wasn't. So those words right there might just be from Isaiah, okay? So I'm not going to throw them out. I'm going to take all the texts from Psalms and I'm going to put them together. And I know that I've got other words from Isaiah, but I just don't know if they're a 3-verse or a 4-verse. If I can't put this together, I'm not going to keep that. But this, I know I need to keep. I understand where that text is going to go. Now, I became a reproach to them. Now when they see me, they shake their head. Help me, Yv, and save me from their evilness according to your kindness. Let them know, and let them know this is your hand. This would have to be an act of our Creator, so I need the word this to represent our Creator here. And you have done this for me. And your servant will be, I need the word and. This is out. This is in. And your servant will be glad, for my accusers then for my accusers will be dishonored and covered with shame. Because Babylon did end up coming. So they were dishonored and covered with shame. And they knew when they were knocking, but that would mean the words all of a sudden here would mean these are coming from Jeremiah. And Jeremiah was thrown into a well by the king's advisors, and the well was there within the courtyard. So are these words taken from Jeremiah to be mixed with Isaiah's words? I became a reproach to them. Now when they see me, they shake their head. Help me, Yv, and save me from their evilness according to your kindness. And let them know that this is your hand, and you have done this for me, and your servant will be glad, for my accusers were dishonored and covered with shame. With my mouth I will give you thanks abundantly in the midst of many of them. So this has to be changed to you. With my mouth I think I am adding the word back, but I know the word give was there, but I'm not sure, but I'm going to just make it my word here. With my mouth I will give you thanks abundantly in the midst of many of them. All right, now that's good cleanup, but the only thing here is I got to take a look at this and then come down here. Where's the 3-verse starting here? So let me just put it here but this is a grouping here. This is a grouping here. Okay, let me see how this reads. Wow, how's that? I don't know if you read it as fast as I did, but I think this, need one more spacing, goes right here. Our Creator, my praise is to you, for I will not be silent. With my mouth I will give you thanks abundantly in the midst of many of them. Now that's how that goes, okay? I hate them. Moved here, and I need to go up here and say, move down. What I'll do is I'll color this so it can easily be found. Make this 8 point. And then come down here, color this in yellow. So that's easy for people to see that I moved it down here. Now let me clean this up. I think I'm done with this one, and there are words that need to be saved here. But there is the format that finally come out of Psalm 109. Not much, but it's there. And I'm really liking it because I'm pretty sure I'm right of what I've said of who would say these. And I can get rid of this, get rid of this. I have to say a dividing line here to show that that's a piece from this here below. And then get rid of this. How'd this stay that color? That was supposed to be clear. It didn't clear all this either, so macro worked and didn't work. Okay, that's a space, that's 2 spaces, that's a space. And now let me bring it out and show 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There are words right here from one prophet, and these are another prophet. These I can say that, like I said, when I told you about Isaiah, and then they put him in the shackles, and I explained without cause, was that because they did lie with their tongues about what he was going to do. And I know that there was a guy's name that accused them. Can't think of the guy's name that accused him, but he had the authority to say lock him up. So somebody to say to be able to lock him up would be like a judge at that time. Or maybe a priest. Okay. I became a reproach to them. Now when they see me, they shake their head. And this is too close to being sent away that they let my accusers were dishonored and covered with shame. This is like he was talking about after the fact that they went to Babylon. So I'm going to title this one Words from Isaiah and Jeremiah. And that is the true truth of what's going on here. And I'm going to have to put Jeremiah down here as well, just to just so I remember. But I think I'll remember. I remembered it when I seen it, when I was cleaning it up. So that is beautiful when you see it. And it's a style that just still is not written today, plain and simple. Now, this text here in the timeline, if I go up to my timeline and say here, Isaiah was at the end of here because there's Micah, and Uriah was the one that Manasseh chased. The prophet Uriah chased, he spoke against this king. That's why he's got a little M and not a capital letter, because that means he's a bad guy. He's the guy that carved an idol for his female goddess and stuck it in our Creator's meeting room, which means the priest had to be corrupt at that time. And he made an altar and stuck it out in the courtyard, and it was dedicated to the horse gods. So this is when you can probably really say that all the true texts that the Hebrews would have first wrote, and I'm proving that that's what they started from, is their words, and they jumbled them up. It is definitely started in the manuscripts. So the manuscripts we have are actually written by the bad guys. But this is definitely at a point where they had the power to tear up, rewrite. And I also know that some of the good guys still had the text, because we've got words from Daniel, we got words coming back together. And then later they took those words and they made them, corrupted those. But Jeremiah is down here, and it was these king's advisors that stuck him into the well. So, and then it was one of the guards went and told this king, and then he had him go get him and then return him. And the words came to Jeremiah to tell that guy that saved him that he will not go into captivity, and him and Jeremiah were left in the land after Babylon was gone. So if you know the stories, just tiny little pieces will pop into your head for you to know how to group these words correctly. I mean, and that's why I'm doing these, that you can actually get my thought process as I'm going through these. And let's see, 3 o'clock. I think I got time to do another one, because this guy here, he's never existed in Melchizedek deck. And I know a lot of people like him, but this is 110, fault time. This is why you get to say you are going to enter into heaven. Only text in all the books. This is going to be good. Now I know I've got to divide this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself a marker here, so you're not going to hear me for about, I'd say, 15 seconds. All right, this is going to be Psalm 110. And I'm going to do what I said above my head here, and that's to find the smallest verses, group them together, and find the first writer's formats. And what I'm looking for here is, where is it? When you see what I'm looking for here, I've done a few of these, and these are a 3-verse format, but the text might look like this when I'm editing it, but when the text comes out, this psalm and this psalm will make a larger psalm, and then all these are together are psalms, and that is what a psalm is. You don't sing them, it's a style of writing at this time. So now that you see what it looks like when it's done or edited correctly, it will happen in this text, I hope, because this is some of the most important texts that we got, and that is telling us, wait a second, I always thought I've been saying it wrong. Where's the psalm that where's the promise with David's son's seed? I've been wrong this whole time. I've been going through all the Psalms. I've been waiting to get to this one, and I'm wrong. That's a disappointment. I don't like being a liar, and I've got to confess and say I'm sorry. I have been absolutely a fool lying to you. That I thought this. I'm looking for the words, your son's seed will be a king in heaven, and I don't see that. This would be a continuance of it. Okay. But I just generally read through it. Now, when I have the words, okay, I guess I should say this before I start editing. When the text has a parentheses around it, it's text that they found in other manuscripts after they put the 1611 Bible into English. They really aren't the good guys. Let me show you something here that this is their words that they wrote in the preface, okay? And the arrows that I've got stuck here are the funny ones, or ones that should bother you. And this is this is the third reason why they get to edit the text. By the light and feeling we have attained unto ourselves. Then they also call Gregory, a great clerk, Gregory the divine. And I'm sure they've talked you into Jesus as being the divine. But they know Gregory and 1611 is the divine. Now, this is awfully unique because you got to read into the text. The first Roman emperor corrected the calendar and the order of the year according to the course of the sun. Why is the word sun capitalized? And that's to give honor and respect to Ra, the sun god. Okay? Now, how did they determine this as the course of the sun? What you do is put a very long stick in the ground and then watch the shadow. And at the winter solstice, the shadow does not change for 3 days and then it starts. So it's considered the beginning and then the end because it has this interruption point. But the object is they were happy that he corrected the calendar. So what was the calendar before then? Well, Nebuchadnezzar woke up eating grass. He said he is the creator, he is the God of all gods, and we're going to go by his calendar. That's what happened. So from Nebuchadnezzar's time forward up until this time, they were going by our creator's calendar, which is the summer solstice. And then down here, they put down, lastly, in the end reward of the study thereof, and that means the text that you're going to read, the Bible, is just to have a fellowship with saints and a participation of the heavenly nature. Whatever that is, because they don't consider our Creator, living with our Creator in heaven as, boy, I'm sorry, okay, I just seen your text. I don't know how long it's been there. I'm sorry. I'm getting a chat from... this one's going to be YouTube. And why do you think the Sabbath is the first day? Okay, I will explain why. When our Creator told them to say that this is the first day of the first year, he was telling them that the day before to prepare a meal, and he's going to kill all the firstborn sons of Israel, and they're not going to kill Israel's firstborn. And so a day is considered when the sun is no longer seen on the horizon in the twilight, and then night, and then daylight become the first day. So that is the first day of their first year, and that text does say this is the first day of the first year. And then in the Sinai, on the second year when it started, our Creator told them to celebrate 7 more days. So you started on the first day as do no work, and then 7 more days to the next holy day, because they're not a Sabbath. He defined them as a holy day. They changed the word a Sabbath and didn't agree with our Creator as he was saying holy. And holy is to mean to teach your children about our Creator and everything he has done for us. Because when you follow the command from the promises, when you start with David, let me see here. David's words, or the promise to, I'm sorry. When I go into Genesis 17:6, the first real promise about a king who shall come forth from Abraham. He's changed the name from Abraham to Abraham, and he's going to establish his promises. It can't be one covenant. It has to be multiple times does he go through and talk about his promises. But here, kings shall come forth from you. And down here, it's from your seed, all nations of the earth shall be blessed. Up here, he's saying the same thing in you, but it's from you. All the nations of the earth will be blessed. Nations is the wrong word in both of these. It means races on earth, not of the earth, but the races on earth will be blessed. A blessing is from our Creator. We don't understand this blessing until David is told that through his son's seed that he will have a kingdom in heaven. That is the words that tell us that you're going into heaven. Okay, or people will enter into heaven. So this starting point of his promise continues about a king who is going to have all the race on earth will be blessed because of him. And what I find is that when they're waiting for Jesus, they literally give him a name. This is the Hebrew word that they used for his name, because this is King Hezekiah, and he's talking about, I will not see Yah in the land of the living. They were to wait for Jesus, their Savior, his anointed one, his holy one, their king. And I can show you here again in Psalm 190 or 149. Praise Yah. This is the capital letter because down here they made all these letters capital letter. But if you read the definition here, they have the name of the God of Israel. What if it says the name of the king from Israel? Because when we read here, praise Yah, we have a new song about Savior, salvation. His praise in the congregation. Now, the congregation is a grouping of the tribes around his tent for meeting with him, or the house for meeting with him, around for meeting with him. Now, what they're doing here is going to say, rejoice in our king, not their king, our king. Praise his name. The only name we have here is praise Yah. So between those two definitions, I'm pretty sure that I can say that Wivey said to Yah, okay, or my king, whoops, that's not the way you spell king, king. Okay, and if that's sit, it would be Jesus, sit. So, Yah said, Yah prophesied. He prophesied. He prophesied, not said. Boy, going from just talking to the full-out promise of prophesying of Jesus. Why he prophesied, we don't need this. My king will sit. So this is a promise from our Creator. I have to add it. This is our Creator, and it's from Jesus here, but this was his words. So, and it's Jesus will sit at his. Oops, I need to put this here. This is our Creator. Will sit at his right hand. And this is not here. And that is the prophecy. Okay? So that's what this text is really saying. It could be Lord, but I just showed you the word king in Abraham. But that's why when you read in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John that they were disciples of Abraham, that they were waiting for a king, but they were waiting for a king to reestablish the kingdom Israel. And that isn't what Isaiah teaches us. Isaiah teaches in Isaiah 11, verse 2, he's going to have 7 spirits, and these are the Spirit of the Lord will rest upon him, and that is baptism. And I will explain that in a second. The spirit of wisdom, the spirit of understanding, the spirit of counsel, the spirit of strength, the spirit of knowledge, the spirit of fear of our Lord, or of YV. And he will delight in the fear of YV. Now, I would like to call them virtues, but that's still a poor word. Now, what is spirit? When we look at the word spirit and seeing how many words the New American Standard used the word spirit as a different word, you can get that there's wind, you could say cold, you could say breath 31 times, you could say sound, words, could be used as spirit. So the thing here is words of wisdom, words of understanding, words of counsel, words of strength, words of knowledge, words of fear of our Creator. Now, when it comes to baptism, Jesus had to fulfill all the statutes and the laws, and the most important one is the priests. A statute for a priest, you must be 25 to enter into the courtyard, and at 50, you are to leave. But there, you, as a priest, not one of the attendants, but as a priest, you are to go in and ask for forgiveness, be the go in between. Now, they needed also to be anointed with the oil that is from his meeting room. And it comes from a golden pitcher that is used, it's just olive oil, but it's poured upon, it's used to fill the lamps up and then to be lit in the morning by the highest priest and put out by the highest priest. But this oil is used to anoint them. Moses anointed them. So this is a statute for a priest. For Jesus to be able to be the priest, to be the go-between, and then our Creator grants him that you can forgive. They don't need any of this anymore because the nation Israel is done, and this is now for everyone on earth. When Jesus is baptized, that is when he is anointed with his breath. And we have those words. Where are they? Right here. These are from Luke and Matthew. And Jesus went up immediately from the water, and behold, the heavens were opened. Now, what does this mean? So, give you a visual of what's going on. You need to know where heaven is located. So, let me get where is heaven located? In Psalm 48, verse 2, New American Standard Bible only. These words tell us, beautiful in elevation, the joy of the whole earth, is Mount Zion in the far north. The far north is the North Star, and the motion of the stars creates Mount Zion. Okay, so now you know what the second heaven is, and our Creator lives above heaven, above the North Star in heaven, and where the birds fly is the third heaven. So when the text, where'd the text go? So when the heavens were opened, they literally looked to the north. The heavens opened so they could see the North Star, and they saw the breath of our Creator descending as a dove. Now, they say spirit, but it's going to be breath as a fog come down. Now, descending as a dove, if you ever watched a dove land, the dove keeps its wings open, and then when they fold them to close them, they go up and then they go down. And look at these words, coming upon him. Very descriptive. That bird's way it lands tells us coming upon him. Okay. Jesus tells us, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He anointed me. Okay. So this is what this baptism, to fulfill the statute for the priest, for him to forgive. And actually, the text, well, let me put it one more time. This here is them remembering our Creator's words, that he shall put his Spirit upon him and he shall proclaim justice to the Gentiles. But the object is his breath upon him, to anoint him, is the same thing. So Jesus, after that time, you'll find the text that all of a sudden he'll tell them that when the paraplegic is lowered, that your sins are forgiven. And that's more important because you're going to heaven than me healing you. But the object is the crowd was saying only our Creator can do this. And he said, well, I'm going to heal him too. And then you can know that both my words are true. Later, Jesus, actually, he doesn't walk on the water. But the object here is when you read the text there, it is that the waves were battering the boat. So you know there are whitecaps. So you right now know that he couldn't walk up and down all the whitecaps. But we have the words, the disciples said, he is a ghost. What does a ghost do? Glides over the water. They seen Jesus coming gliding over the water, and they were all frightened, like he's a ghost, you know. So the thing here is, but Jesus was able to do that. He calmed the winds. He calmed the water. There's things that all of a sudden, that after our Creator anoints him with his breath, Jesus becomes that extra step above, okay? So it all follows after he's risen above the water and baptized. Then he does those things. So let me see, where am I going here? I got a little lost here, but I've been saying this is the verse that says these things, but he's David's son's seed. I got to find those words now because I know they're from Nathan. But anyways, this is the prophecy. Sit at his right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. Now, because our Creator is saying all these words, they need to be all capitalized. And then this is Jesus, this is Jesus, this is Jesus. I will make your enemies a footstool for your feet. Now, how do I get a 3-verse or a 4-verse from the text? Now, let me see if the word until is actually in the text here. If I go, I got to find Psalm 110. Go here. This is the New American Standard 1977 Bible, and this is the concordance over here, and they have changed the wording or lettering to make it theirs to be able to do this concordance. And I'm clicking here, and the word Strong felt it was important enough to put the word in. And then down here, we can see that the New American Standard added or tells us how many times they use these words for this word in the Hebrew side of the text. And what is really surprising, and what I did was I started doing videos back in 1998, I think, is when I started. Although I was taking snapshots and putting them on my website in 1995. But what happens, let me see, words. They have a problem. This I usually use as my intro. And this is the word which, this is the word for the Hebrew word, and then they show you 1,924 times. But look at the words in red. How do they get from the word which to any of these 5 right here? Okay? So the thing here is I know there's a Hebrew word for each one of these. Watch. If I go from the word so, there it is right here, but they're saying this word means so 7 times using this word, and yet this is the word for so, okay? Now, what happens is when I go through the text, I've been through this quite a few times, and I keep collecting these type of things. But here, the word boy, I hope that's, I don't know how long I was there. Sorry about that. Let me get back here. Here is the word which, in the Hebrew word which, and this shows the text here, how many times it's used. But these words, how do they get the word which? 4 times, 1 time, 1 time, 1 time, 1 time, 1 time, all these, because I know these all have a Hebrew word for them. Example, if I show you the word so, there it is in Hebrew, yet they use the word so 7 times for this word. Now, let me go to this text and go to 125, maybe 150. Okay. And what's strange is I can click on the word boy and I can find they used it for the word girl once. Desert turns into a man's name 4 times. The word dove turns into a three named something, okay, once, all right? And then nations, the word nation turns into, I don't know what this is, 3 times though. So it's just that they literally show you the corruption of the text by what they did. That's why this program is no longer available to the world. They have taken it down in the software program that I'm using. I got a hold of the company here a couple of years back, and they didn't even know that they owned it. It has changed so many times that they didn't know that this existed. So I know that when I last looked at their program, it was just compiling a bunch of books together that are misleading to teach you what these words mean, but they got them so distorted that they're teaching distortion to you. But they thought that he thought this word was very important. So Usually, what I would do then is I will make your enemies a footstool for your feet. And guess what word is missing? Forever. And what I'll do is I make it gray text that I am adding. But that's now a 3 verse, and that's a 3 verse. Okay, the word forever is missing. Waivu will stretch forth your strong scepter from Jerusalem. You will rule in the midst of your enemies. Your people will volunteer freely that day of your power in holy array. Now, see, that's kind of like an army. An array means that you've got this formation for an army to do battle. And we know at David's time, they lined up against each other and then they just rushed towards each other. So that's what the array means. From the womb of the dawn, we can get rid of those words. From the dawn of your youth, you are as the dew. Well, we know that that's wrong. Why he has sworn? Well, that seems to be separate from here. Why he has sworn, and he will not change his mind. You are a priest forever. Now that's cool because a priest, like I said, was the one who is the in-between our Creator that asks if this person has been forgiven. And that is, yes, Jesus is a priest. He's also a prophet. He's also a savior. And the way our Creator had him die, he's his Christ. But priest forever, that goes with the text above here. Okay. So, Wivey has sworn he'll not change his mind. You are a priest forever. And this would be Jesus. You are a priest forever. Okay. Now this is cool. It's cleaning up, getting a few verses here. According to the order of Melchizedek. Well, that you can see is not working into a 3-verse format. Okay. So that definitely is out. My king is at your right hand. He will shatter kings